I'm ankle deep in water here. I'm in what is supposed to be a baseball field. Just to give you an even better visual here, I want to show you, we're here at the McDonald's, and take a look at this drift right here. At times, the water level getting higher than this curb here. You can even see somebody's already busted out this window. There's still a handful of people out here taking advantage. I don't know, could you call this a slope? When I first brought you guys the news that the intersection here at Powers and Research will soon look like this, you guys in the comment section on Facebook, well, you had a lot to say. Clubhouse is just a bunch of piles of rubble covered in snow, and there are signs here that change is on the way, whether neighbors are ready for it or not. If my mom happens to be watching, hey, I've got your package, so just be on the lookout. As I go through this roundabout, not only does traffic move smoother, it's also keeping me a lot safer. We've got, I would say, a good couple inches of snow here that's come down, more still coming down right now. The flames just keep flaring up. They just keep getting bigger. If it's 1991 at 22 cents per gallon, that gas tax would have given me the funding to drive my cars all the way over here to the driveway with enough road. One of those cars was packed with a family headed to DIA to catch a flight they wish they didn't have to catch at all in the first place. They say lightning never hits the same place twice. But for Jenny Esparza, it sure feels like her family keeps getting struck.
It really did hit us hard in the past month.
Her aunt still doesn't know.
When she wakes up, it's just going to be really reliving everything over and over again.
Doesn't know her husband, a beloved grandfather and Jenny's uncle, is dead. Dead after a driver fleeing police in a stolen bus crashed into their family's car on Highway 83 Thursday morning.
They were hit head on. My uncle actually took his granddaughter out of the car right after, he loved his grandchildren with all his heart.
Two of Jenny's cousins in that car have been in and out of surgery with a long recovery ahead.
My aunt is the one that is actually, doing really bad, and because of the injuries that she suffered, it caused her to have a stroke.
By now you've probably noticed we're talking to Jenny virtually. Hey Jenny, can you hear me okay? Not out of convenience, but necessity. You're not in Colorado right now. What state are you in right now?
I'm in California at the moment.
And why are you in California?
My cousin, she lives here in California, and she just had a loss of her baby during childbirth.
The baby's funeral set for last Friday.
And so Thursday morning, they were on their way to the airport for, to come over here for the funeral.
Who could have predicted the odds?
We thought that we were just coming here to support one loss, and then we had a bigger loss.
Who could have predicted the grief?
He took somebody that was just so important to all of us.
The rage.
As you can imagine, very angry.
And who could have predicted the selfishness that got us here?
Hopefully, people who are out there, they think more when they're thinking that they're not going to hurt anybody else. They can hurt an entire family like this man hurt us.
They say lightning never strikes the same place twice, but it sure feels like tragedy can. Still a lot of work to do here, and for neighbors this morning, when they woke up, they were in for quite the shock.
All the way back.
This is not what Esther Lucero and her girlfriend were hoping to wake up to.
She started crying. I'm upset. It's frustrating.
Their entire property here off Business Highway 50 in the Vineland area of Pueblo County looks more like a lake.
This is a good few inches here.
So does the whole neighborhood.
We had to go ahead and close Vineland Elementary and Vineland Middle School.
Floodwaters from Monday night's rain making two D70 schools inaccessible. Now they're cleaning up.
And it's ice cold.
Again.
Every time it rains a lot, every time we get about an inch of rain, this happens.
The flooding, an all too common occurrence here.
Well, in 2019, 4 or 5 times. And then now this year,
It's been an ongoing issue for many, many years.
And they think they know why.
it's just inadequate drainage systems that we have out here.
Drainage ditches alongside Business 50 and nearby county-maintained roads can't handle the water all at once.
All of these fields in this area all flow to this 112-inch culvert right here, which just backs up at any point when it rains.
Neighbors say they've asked leaders numerous times to clean the ditches.
We've called CDOT. There's been no resolve.
But CDOT says they have had crews cleaning the ditches consistently over the past month and a half. In a statement, a spokesperson tells us the issue isn't the roadway, but the flatness of the topography in the area. When Pueblo sees heavy rain, the water, not only from the state roadway, but also county roads and fields in the area, has nowhere to go. But ask these stakeholders.
We want to see, an adequate drainage system installed for this area.
And our hope is that the county and the states will get together and work to fix that culvert.
They're tired of mopping up mud.
Something's got to be done, or we're just going to have to take it up with the state.
It's crazy how much of this stuff there is.
For every piece of garbage he picks up,
Yeah, there's so much random stuff.
Justin Fry can't understand what makes this picturesque spot off Old Stage Road more convenient than a garbage can.
There's got to be a dumpster you could poach way closer than up here.
It's trashed, not only with shell casings and ammo boxes.
People are literally just hauling like actual trash up here. It's not just stuff to shoot at, it's like bags full of trash.
And if the past is any example,
Just like anything in history, you abuse it and it goes away.
it's taught him he is the example.
Somebody's got to look after it.
That's why he and 16 other members of backcountry hunters and anglers made the bumpy trek up Old Stage.
This is not the prettiest sight if somebody's new to Colorado Springs or to Colorado.
Setting the example
We're gonna get a lot of traffic today of people seeing us and seeing what we're doing today.
How you doing? You want to put that in here?
and setting the precedent.
I think it's awesome. More kids in their generation should understand that this is something that just has to happen. Good job. Thank you.
This should be the last time they have to do this.
If everybody that came up here to use this just took out what they brought in plus a little more, this place would be spotless.
It's not always pretty.
I would have to say the amount of diapers that we are finding would be a little odd.
But they do it for that one thing.
Hopefully setting an example so the next people that show up to shoot are like, oh, it's not a trash pit anymore. Maybe we should take our stuff with us.
Always watching out for you. Spencer Humphrey, News 5.
Yeah, Elizabeth, how many of us groan to ourselves when we see those signs light up letting us know the traffic light's about to change to yellow and we're going to have to stop? CDOT officials tell me they don't like having to stop on powers just as much as the rest of us, but in order to change that, it may mean changing what we pay at the pump.
We've all experienced it.
It's just so difficult to talk.
That headache you get when driving on Powers Boulevard.
It's all pretty bad.
Heading south from Interquest, it's smooth sailing. Until...
It's like, all right, we're going, and there's another stoplight.
From Research Parkway south, this highway is littered with traffic lights.
You're donezo. Like, if you're on lunch break, you might want to call your boss.
And make no mistake, it is a highway. Colorado Highway 21 to be exact. And the lowest speed limit sign you'll see is 55. CDOT even installed signs that light up, warning drivers to be prepared to stop just before the traffic lights turn yellow.
I'd love to see something done about it.
And with the area only continuing to grow, CDOT knows this design just isn't going to cut it forever.
Making Powers, kind of what we call a freeway, is the ultimate plan.
That would mean ditching those traffic lights and replacing them with grade-separated interchanges so traffic on Powers can pass right by with ease. But that, it would cost some money. But from where?
The current gas tax here is 22 cents a gallon.
That's Shoshana Liu, CDOT's executive director. She says that 22 cents per gallon of gas is where CDOT gets the bulk of its funding for road projects.
Has been that way since about 1991.
And that's the issue. Let's say I'm CDOT and I want to build me a road to get my car all the way from right here, all the way to this driveway over here. Now, if it's 1991 at 22 cents per gallon, that gas tax would have given me the funding to drive my cars all the way over here to the driveway with enough road. But we know it's not 1991 anymore, it's 2021. Inflation tells us that 22 cents per gallon worth about half as much as it was in 1991, so let's move my car accordingly. But there's a little more at play here. Cars now are much more fuel efficient than they were in 1991. That means there's not as much gas being purchased today, so let's move my car back just a little bit further to illustrate that loss in revenue. You can see now I'm nowhere near that driveway where I need to be, and the only thing that would get me there is more funding.
We're not unique in having this challenge, right? This is a sort of endemic problem that exists, in many other states.
And as electric cars become more popular on our roadways, CDOT's revenue drops.
It's a good problem to have that having more efficient cars degrades the value of the traditional revenue source, but it does create a problem that we're going to have to deal with.
A total fix, well, that hasn't been found yet. And for projects like Powers,
Obviously, we have to take that in small chunks.
CDOT can only fund the transformation little by little.
Unless we get some huge funding stimulus.
So if you regularly drive Powers,
It would definitely be good to see some change.
just take your time
It pays to be patient.
and be prepared to stop.